Hey, welcome to the United We Scan podcast. Just a quick disclaimer here that any of the views and opinions expressed by the individuals are not that of the USPS or the NRLCA. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and if you are in need of any assistance, please contact your designated union representative. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 140. This evening, we're going to be talking about load truck time, return to DU, end of shift duties, all that good stuff. How was your weekend, your Thanksgiving, Josh?
It was a week. It was pretty good. Um, Monday, I guess. While I was delivering, I my hardship had her flag up, so I went and pulled it out. It was a small Amazon box with a card taped to it saying "Happy Thanksgiving, mail carrier." Okay, fine, great. And she usually gives me snacks and stuff, so I just popped the box open, and it was this little angel figurine in it. I'm like, oh, that's nice. That's cool. And everything. It wasn't until I got home and opened cards and realized it was not from her, but from one of a friend of hers who used to live in that neighborhood and moved away 5 years ago. It
Oh,
got me
wow.
to get, which made it even more special. Thanksgiving was good. It was just us, my sister-in-law, and her two kids. We went to my father-in-law's house, so it was small until we were getting ready to sit down at the table, and she realized that she forgot to bring the stuffing with her. So it was what it was. We're getting, we bought a rotisserie chicken and a box of stovetop tonight to make up for it. So that was dinner tonight. Things are starting to settle down a little bit at work, so that's a plus. Meow, how was your week?
My week was mostly good because I didn't work very much this week. You know, I my kid was off of school, so I took off Saturday so that I had leave in conjunction with my relief day, so I wouldn't be mandated. So I was off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then today. So not really wanting to go back to work tomorrow. But Monday, trying to think of what happened Monday. It was a Monday. And then the Tuesday and Wednesday before Thanksgiving weren't too bad. The parcels, I think, were increased. Um, but then Wednesday morning, this is probably like the low of the week. In years past, my office usually would do a potluck, or we would do like a themed potluck. And a lot of the time, I'm usually one of the ones who helps try and organize it too, and with my station manager, or just to bring on some camaraderie. And this year they didn't want to do it, so it was like whatever, okay. But um, like we clocked in, and our start time's 8:30, and my morning supervisor calls us all for a stand up, and including the rural side. Normally, like they will only do a stand up on the city side, and most like if they think that it's prevalent to rule, they'll call us over. So this morning she called us all over. None of us had grabbed any of our mail yet, so we all run over there. And I know that she's has to talk in a loud voice so that everybody can hear her, but the way that she speaks is like berating. And so she gives us this giant stand up about how we're not doing our SPM scans correctly, and we're missing parcel scans, and just kind of, it was kind of berating. And it wasn't even like a I understand, like, management has to do that, but they have to address the issue, but there's still like a way to do it, and not and be I'm sorry, and be respectful about how they're presenting that information to us. So all of us are just glazed over that they want us to scan the SPMs and not hit already passed, and hit what was it? They want us to hit no more to scan instead of already passed. It's their flavor of the last few months. But there was no, hey, thank you guys, and we're approaching peak, and it's gonna get crazy, and I'm thankful for all of you. It was nothing like that. So like at the end of it, I I being I try and be a little jokey sometimes, and so I went to tell like the subs especially like, hey, I'm thankful for you guys because I am. I'm thankful for my coworkers, and even though management may not tell us that, and they just want to berate us for missing SPM scans. Sorry, we didn't scan flats and letters. Um, we us carriers look out for each other. Same on the city side. And then the city side, they were splitting all these routes, so it was like you're gonna waste time telling us all this, and then uh, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. So, but after that, I mean, Thanksgiving was really good. I was the host, so I had to hurry and kind of clean my house, and so my whole family was over here, and it was kind of overwhelming inside my house. But I purposely took off the time because my kid was off school, and most of the time that I take off is usually for union events. So I I took this time to right before I know it's getting into the crazy time and I won't be home as much. So I took off time with my kid, so to be with my family and my kid. So, how was your week, Kristen?
Oh, it was a week. Uh, oh, Monday was a 12-hour day. That sucked really bad. Well, I clocked out 5 minutes shy of a 12-hour day, but still close enough. Tuesday was a 10-hour day. That's the heaviest Tuesday I've had in a while. Mail, mail, mail. But I took Wednesday off so I could get ready for dinner, make my pies, and prep all my food. And Thursday morning, my son calls to say, hey, because of the weather, we're not coming up. So it was my parents and my son did not make it. So it was just, Ruby, Kingston, Eric, and I, and then Eric's son Logan popped in just before dinner was done. So it wasn't too bad. It was just us. And then Friday actually wasn't bad. I was expecting worse. I was one of the lucky ones in the office. I didn't have a second trip. I was done under evaluation. To me, it looked like a normal average Monday is what Friday felt like to me. I was kind of like going around going, "Are you sure there's not a hamper of parcels hiding from me somewhere?" Because everybody else has hampers stacked of second trips, and well, I still have room in my truck. Not complaining though. And then I worked my K day yesterday, and it was a light day. I had one tray of DPS, a half a tray of pull down, and 175 parcels, but which was actually less than I had. No, it was more than I had on Friday, parcel wise. I had 230 Monday, so scans. It was a week. I Ruby took my car in on Monday to I had to get a new auxiliary and regular battery and oil change, and next thing I know I'm getting a phone call saying something's wrong with my car. She had to take it back, and I'm like, well, the place that she goes is on my mail route, so they know me, and that's where I normally take my car anyways. So when you have a 19-year-old telling you stuff, you don't know what the hell's going on. So I ended up missing a package on that part of the route anyway, so that just gave me an excuse to drive back up there and go see what was going on with my car. And it turned out my oil filter housing slash oil cooler is what it's called on my Jeep Compass was dented in a weird spot. So, but we're thinking because I was talking to the kid Wednesday after it was fixed when I went to go pick it up, and I was talking to the one guy because when I went up there, I was hot. I mean, I was like, what the hell did they do to my car, you know? And then when I was talking to the guy that manages that location, and it was sounds like it was pretty much, I just wanted to confirm that it was something that was there prior to taking my car in. And so when I went pick the car up Wednesday after it was fixed, and I was talking to the other guy, because there's two guys in there I trust, the one I talked to Monday and the one I was talking to Wednesday, and he and I were talking. I said, well, do you remember when we had that issue a while ago, I don't know, first year or so I had the car or whatever. I said, and I left and you called me back right away to come back because the oil was leaking. He's like, yeah. I said, and the owner of the shop at the time was there and he was down in the pit and he didn't understand it either because the oil filter looked fine and whatnot. And he looked at me and he's like, I wonder. I said, I wonder if that was a manufacturer defect. And it finally he goes, I wonder if this was a blessing in disguise. I said, exactly. And he's like, because that was pretty much doing the exact same thing. I'm not going to tell these guys about the previous time. I said, no, no, don't do that. So that was an extra $200 out of my pocket. But car's fixed, car's running, 2 new
Could
batteries.
have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, because they were changing filters and it was spraying and they couldn't figure out. Then it was something on the inside that housing that was dented or whatever. Because I even asked him, I said, where is that actually located? Is it something that, something could have hit it, up off the road or run over something or whatever? And he's like, not really. I mean, he was worried about it when they were telling him because he wasn't there Monday. He was worried about which engine is that because some of them, the oil filter screws right into the engine block. He's like, guys, engine block, and then when they told him, he's like, oh, good, that's just the cooler. That's 2 bolts, not a big deal. And so that, we got lucky on that. But yeah, so even he and I agreed that it was more like a blessing in disguise. He goes, they even put the premium filter on and it sprayed worse than the cheaper ones. And then they went back and they went back and looked at the original filter that they took off to the car and they could see where the seal was about ready to slip. So I said, sounds like most likely a manager defect that just over time got worse. He's like, I wouldn't doubt it. So thankfully we got that taken care of because they all know how much I drive my car. So
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Yep. I said, yeah, because the last time I got the oil change was when, like, the day before I left for Florida. They're like, oh, yeah, I remember you were talking about you were going to Orlando the next morning. I said, yeah, and last year I went to Reno and back. So we got that
Good. I
taken
need it
care
for
of.
my vehicle.
And then Tuesday when I got
200
at,
better than I said
yeah,
200 better than 2 grand if it
yeah,
a bit down the road.
exactly. So thankfully, because, I've only had this car for 2.5 years now. So thankfully it wasn't major. It was $600 we dumped into it between Monday and Wednesday, but oh well. And then Tuesday, when I got off the route, my supervisor was so happy. I mean, she was holding herself back from texting me or calling me on the route to let me know that district finally approved for the use of the LLV in the Christmas parade on Saturday the 6th. So we've already decided we're going to do all hands on deck. And since it is the first day of Christmas overtime period, I said, if my route gets slammed with packages, please call me. I will come in and run packages so we can get everybody back. So as
Oh,
of right
woohoo.
now, I have my K day off for Saturday. So, but I did offer, I said, I'll have no problems coming in and running packages in my car just so we can get people done because parade lineup starts at 5:15. So, but I got a 6 foot tall light up Santa hat that says Merry Christmas on it to put on top of the LLV. Postmasters offered to get lights for it, but I've already got all that covered. So, yeah, we're gonna, whoever volunteers to come walk alongside with the LLV. I just put a Facebook blast out in our local groups that we're going to be picking up Santa letters along the parade route as well. And
Oh.
I know, and even my postmaster said she'd buy pizza for everybody afterwards, and we'll just have to go pick it up when we get done. So,
Up and help for that.
yep. So, but yeah, yeah, it'll be fun. I've had this idea of wanting to do it for a few years, and we finally put it in motion. Kind of cool. And then I got my national conventions proceedings in the mail yesterday too. So I was kind of shocked because I walked in from loading the truck and envelope sitting at my case. I'm like, oh, the carrier dropped it off to my case. I wasn't expecting that, but cool, thanks.
Oh, that's even better.
Oh, I
That's
know.
even
I'm like, what is
better.
this? And then I saw it and I was like, oh, oh, I know what this is. Yeah,
There's
wasn't
some
it?
gems in there. It's a good book. It's a good
Yeah.
read.
I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but
Mm.
I'm dealing with the fact that I've been out of my allergy medication since Tuesday. my allergy and sinus stuff that I have to take year round. It's horrible, trust me. So I've been out since Tuesday and it is now catching up with me. So today has been completely rough. So I apologize, guys. I'm probably going to mute myself quite a bit so y'all don't have to listen to me blowing my nose and sneezing constantly right now, as it's been all day. Not fun. Tomorrow's going to
Fun,
suck.
fun times.
Guess I'll have to find the one of the empty bottles and give it to Ruby and the boyfriend so they can go get me more tomorrow. Because unfortunately, it's one of those off brands that only Walmart sells. I haven't been able to, and it's the only one that works for me. So yeah.
Do you guys have any Walmarts in your town?
No, my closest Walmart's 15 miles away.
Oh, jeez. There's like one on my way home from work.
Yeah, no, no Walmart with it. It's a 20-minute drive to Walmart. So anything else is an hour to 2 hours away for us. Unfortunately, and that's the only stuff
Uh,
that works for me. So I am suffering what is. But, we push through it all.
Yeah.
We're rural carriers. We push through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've worked through pneumonia a couple times. I'm not going to mention how many times with COVID.
Yeah.
It happens. So
Yep, we do push through.
we
Delivered male
do.
pregnant.
I never did
But that's been
that.
overcome.
Yeah, never did that, but I have worked with my knee in an immobilizer when I injured it on my left leg. That was fun. No, that was my left or my right? I don't remember. That was fun trying to drive the POV straddling. But yeah, I mean we push through it. So I'm gonna be pushing through it tomorrow, and let's just hope somebody doesn't say something to me in the wrong tone.
I need my allergy medicine.
Leave me alone. The claws will come out. It's best you just don't talk to me, okay? Got it.
When you do like a infomercial, we're role carriers. We do it. We push through it.
Make it a cheer.
Yeah.
But we
Enough is
do.
enough. Role
I know.
carriers push through it. Like,
Yeah,
well,
I did get one of my new holiday T-shirts in to wear. That's the one that says I I think I'll just jingle some of the way. I'm tired. It's got Christmas lights on. Uh, we got
I'm
our
tired.
first we got
That's
our
good.
first big snowfall last night today, and it's the heavy wet stuff because it's still kind of warm out there and it sucks. So tomorrow's gonna suck even more. But yeah,
Slushy. Slush.
yeah.
Yeah.
So guys,
Well,
let's get
supposed to be
this
wet here.
rolling. What was that, Josh?
Supposed to be wet here through most of the week, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, I'll trade you.
I'm
I'll,
not
I'll,
that
I'll,
ugly white stuff.
I don't want the ugly white stuff.
At least where you're at, people almost know how to drive and they know how to clear the roads well.
But people tend to
Almost.
forget
Here they
how to
talk about
drive
that.
in it. And people don't remember how to drive in it. And they just,
Amnesia.
Well, this is true.
yeah.
Some amnesia of
Here
driving in the
they
snow.
they talk about it, and the city shuts down for a week.
Right? You see a snowflake in the air and everything shuts down. Yeah. Um, you
Yep.
see, I laugh when you guys say, we got snow, and it's like this dusting, and I'm going, that looks like frost to me. That ain't snow. But yeah, okay. Well, let's get
I'm
this
snow looks like. I should say
going.
what
Go
at
ahead.
least what real snow looks like.
Well, you're originally from Pennsylvania, so
Okay, yeah, that's what I said. I'm from Philly. I know what real snow looks like.
But you've forgotten over time, slowly.
I was just looking at the snow reports from where I used to live, where my original office was when I first started in Gaylord, and some of the areas they got anywhere between
Yep.
12 to 24 inches over Thanksgiving. And I just keep thinking to
Ooh,
myself, I do not miss the winters there because I learned to deliver mail in blizzard conditions.
Yeah.
I learned how to straddle a POV in
yeah.
blizzard conditions, so I'm glad I don't get it
You
like
got like
that
the
anymore.
parcel in your arms, and you're just like, whoo, 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 like chucking through the. There's no
Oh,
shoveled driveway yet.
oh yeah. I've gone and seen a mailbox get taken out by a plow, and mail is strewn across the ditch in waist deep snow. And yes, I was that RCA that got out and picked all that mail up.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, got to protect the integrity of the
Shake off each
mail.
piece from the snow.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know. So,
So
okay, guys. So, what are we gonna start with first? Load truck, start load, end
I would
load,
do
or end of
I
shift?
thought we would do the express deviation first because
Yes,
it's the
that works.
easiest of them.
Yes, that is. Go right
So
ahead.
Well,
just to
you
kind
said
of
you want to do that,
preface.
or do you want to just follow the? I'm sorry. I said you want to do that, or just follow the day as it would go. It's up to you.
No, I wanted to do this one first because this one there's not a lot, and I think that there's a lot of more there's more confusion with express deviation I think than the others maybe. Because and the other stuff
Okay.
I think is more straightforward than what this is, but um, so what we're basically going to be
Gotcha.
talking about is your actual time events that happen each day on your route and in the office. So when the engineers and even in the old mail count system, there were certain times that it used to be called, what was it, column 17 time was what it was called for the
Yep.
load time, right?
Now,
And
column
so like
C,
load,
17 was miscellaneous. I forget which
and then what was load
column.
time?
I forget what column number that was, but it was the load time.
Okay.
They
Well,
would
so
actually come
they
out there with you. They would have a counter come out there with a stopwatch, and they would time you and watch you load your vehicle, so you put the conveyance back to where it belongs.
Yeah. So thankfully, with rrecs, we don't have to have that happen. Because I know the counters would have to sit there with you for the 2 weeks of the count or however long the count was and follow you. And you'd have to go, I need a counter to go with me to load. But so when the engineers were designing rrecs and they were doing the study and seeing the different miscellaneous things that we do as role carriers, they determined that there is certain activities that it's you can't really put a standard to. And so and those three things are the end of shift times, the load time, and the express deviation. And so all your other things that you do have a set amount that a standard minutes that are you're evaluated for based off of how many times or how many items you have, and even your foot measurements. So what they said in the comprehensive guide, and this is page 19 of the NRLCA comprehensive guide to rrecs, revised 2/4/2025, because that was the last time it was revised, which it wasn't revised very much, but that's a whole nother story. Sorry. So, the end of shift period is also very difficult to measure. Many possible activities can occur in the office at the end of the day. Different activities are performed on different routes, and different activities are performed on the same route on different days. Once again, the panel concluded that it would be impractical and expensive to develop engineered standards and data capture procedures for many of the short activities performed during this period. Deviation for express mail delivery is a relatively rare event. Many express mail deliveries are fully integrated with mail delivery and do not require any deviation from the basic route and normal direct delivery door deliveries. When deviation is required, there is no set procedure governing how it occurs. That is no standardization of where the carrier departs from and returns to the basic route, and no uniformity in whether the deviation is made on foot or by a combination of driving and walking. Capturing and assigning time to irregular traffic travel patterns of this sort is extremely difficult with GPS technology. Given the great difficulty of using the engineered standards in this context and the relatively small contribution to the activity makes to the overall route evaluation, the panel opted for direct measurement of actual time. So express deviation. Let me pull up. Sorry, I thought I had everything up, and I do not. I'm pulling up the rrecs uh, activity scan. I'm sorry, I thought I had it all the way up. End of shift coverage. So express deviation on the RX activity scans is activity scan F, which is start deviation. And it states upon leaving the official line of travel to deliver priority mail express, this is used only when required to deviate to make committed delivery time for priority mail express. No other types of deviation are covered under this selection. And then end deviation, which is G, is upon returning to the official line of travel from delivering priority mail expressed. This is used only when required to deviate to make committed delivery time for priority mail express. No other types of deviation are covered under this section. And what's different with this RX scan compared to the other ones of your timed ones that you'll have, it'll have a start and an end, and your RX scan menu will only leave that up. This one does not. So you'll have to remember to hit the end if you've started it. So the most common that I'm going to use, because this is also, so express deviation is kind of changed since a lot of this information was all written and came out. They changed the express time from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. So it's been a lot easier for us as rural carriers to get the express to its delivery point in that time frame. But that is not always the case. So like let's say, Friday. Friday was the day after Thanksgiving, and you knew you weren't going to leave the office until like 2 o'clock, and you had an express, and you weren't going to come back to the office till probably like 7. We'll just say that. If you can't make that express by 6 p.m., you're going to get as close as you can to like that point in the route before that time. And then you're going to hit start deviation on your scanner on the RX scan. And then you're going to go deliver the express. And then you're going to get back to that point in your line of travel. And then you'll hit end deviation. If another scenario that could happen is, and this is also, I'm going to preface all of this by saying this is management also requiring you to do this. So if you know that you have an express that you're not going to make it by 6 p.m., I would communicate that with management and be like, hey, like, look, I'm not going to leave till 2. I'm going to have to use my express deviation, just so that you have it up front with them. If you are on your route, and I'm going to preface this by also saying management shouldn't be texting you on the scanners, shouldn't really be texting you at all, but I know that this is happening. So I'm going to provide you with this information. If management is requiring you at some point in your route to deviate and come back to the office for an express piece of mail, the moment that you leave your line of travel to come back for the express and then go deliver it, or if you're just going to that point, sorry, I'm going to get real meta here. If you're just going back to that point because you're going to make the express before 6 p.m., that's when you would hit end deviation. Does that make sense, Josh? Did I lose everybody?
No, it
Am
makes
I in the
sense to
weeds?
me.
Okay. Okay.
No, and it is explicitly for express mail.
Yes.
So let's
And I know
say
that
in
there's,
that scenario, management wants you to come back for an express, and where you leave off and you start that deviations, if that express was for a spot already on a part of the mail route you've already passed, you would stay under the start deviation until you deliver it, and then when you get back to the point where you left off to go retrieve it, is when you would end it.
yes.
So,
If,
yeah.
yeah, yep, those are, yeah, that's the other scenario that it would work in. I said it to Josh. Oh, Josh is going to come back in. Because I know that he's done this more so. My office does not require us to come back. And so our expresses are typically done under second trip, which is a whole nother side story that I could go into. I know we went over it in another thing. If management also, sorry, also to preface this, if management is requiring you to go back, you also need to be doing that load time for you loading a parcel into the vehicle or however many express you're delivering. Because the deviation based off of the stuff that I just read out of the comprehensive guide is for that part of you deviating out of your line of travel.
Hello.
Hello? We can hear you. Good.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to reply, but apparently my microphone
It did
doesn't like long
didn't
periods
want?
of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, want me to. But yeah, I would say if you and I missed what you said, so if I'm repeating what you said, I apologize. If you leave your line of travel for whatever reason, important, whether it be to go back to the office and pick it up or to deliver, make sure it gets delivered by that 6 p.m. cutoff, you would delete or the deviation, start and end. And the reason that it doesn't lock you out like start and end load for that is because in theory you're going to deliver an express, so you need to be able to get to um the delivery option, whether it's
Yes.
delivery attempted.
The only thing I would
Um,
add to what you
but
were
yeah,
saying was and I don't know if it just cut out because I couldn't really hear you all the way, is that if you're leaving your line of travel for an express specifically, it can't
yes,
be for whatever reason, but if management is requiring you to deliver it for a certain by 6 p.m. to come back to the office for it, um it is only, like Kristen had said earlier, it is specifically only to express.
yes,
The other part that I did also want to add, because this was brought to my attention, it was like when I was a regular, um, this is a section 342 of the PO 603, which is the Road Carrier Duties and Responsibilities, and it is specifically about express mail and dismount. It says dismount delivery. All express mail must be delivered to the residence or business. Try to get the customer to come to the vehicle by sounding the horn or by giving some other signal. If there is no response or if the customer requests you to do so, dismount to deliver any residence or business that is on the line of travel or within 1/2 mile of the route and has a passable road leading to it. In order to meet requirements, delivery times management may require a carrier during the course of normal delivery of the route to deviate from the established line of travel to deliver express mail and will provide additional compensation as appropriate, i.e., express deviation RX scans, or second trip later on if you're doing it at the end of the day. However, a carrier who traverses both sides of the road is expected to deliver express mail to a residence or business on the opposite side of the roadway in order to meet an established delivery time when it is anticipated that the carrier will not traverse the opposite side of the road until the required delivery time for the express mail piece. In those circumstances where divided highways, limited access roads, hazardous conditions, or other unusual situations exist that may encumber delivery to the opposite side of the roadway, management may require the carrier to deviate and the carrier will receive additional compensation as appropriate. So let's say you're delivering to one side of the highway, your express is for the other. Again, this might be another event and you're not going to be on that other side of the highway until after 6 p.m. That would be an event that you're using the express deviation. And regular road carriers covered under the FLSA or leave replacements when compensated on the evaluation of a regular auxiliary route served and when actual hours do not exceed 40. Oh, never mind. Sorry. I don't know why it cut off there. But that's not relevant. So I think I covered it mostly for the express. Does that make sense? Do you have anything else to add for that, Josh?
yes. Fun fact: express mail is the only type of mail that gets attempted for no mail receptacle.
Yes. And
So,
it has to go to the
like
front
for
door based on what I just
yeah,
read.
yes,
Okay. So
yep,
the second thing we're going to
I was just gonna say that's. I think that pretty much covers that in its entirety. So on to number next.
number next. So loading a vehicle. So the second thing that the engineers also made as an actual timed event which was the same as it was in the past mail system, was the start and the end load vehicle. Now, hold on, sorry, one more second. I was trying to pull it up before I got there. And then I just forgot what I was looking up. Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
Start load.
Yes, but I also wanted to include that there it's in the comprehensive guide and I thought I had it up. The drive speed, nope. Nope. So there's certain events like the express deviation. Sorry, out of these three events that I'm going through, express deviation and loading the vehicle also has a personal fatigue and delay percentage that is added to them. And that percentage is, that's what I was looking up, is like 1.3%. I can't remember exactly. So
I
you'll
don't
you'll
remember.
see it on your 4241M when you get your evaluations, specifically on load vehicle and express deviation. It'll say actual time plus personal fatigue and delay, because you're not going to load the vehicle the same each day. There might, like I've said before in another episode, you maybe went to a concert the night before and you're real tired. Or you might have a sub who, is a little bit slower, or this day they were quicker. So it just depends on, there's a lot of other factors that play into it. So just keep that in mind with your load time in that
Well,
fluctuation.
also, just when doing any task after a period of time, you're going to slow down, even if it's just slightly.
Yeah. It just depends on the day that I don't know, like on the day that you come back from being on leave or the day that you came back from being off, you might load faster than you do when you've worked 10 days in a row. It
Right.
varies from person to person.
And not
Um,
only that, I
so
mean, the size and the weight of your packages, too. I mean, if you're loading up the small stuff first and you're quicker at it, by the time you get to the heavier stuff, it's a little bit more draining.
yes,
Right. Or even vice versa. You load the heavy stuff in the truck first, just to get
Yep.
it in there and out of the way and place it. You've drained yourself even for the smaller ones, which you can move quicker with those, but you might not be moving as quick as if you did not have the big ones.
yeah. So the RX scan for start load vehicle, the RX activity guide states select start load vehicle when moving loaded conveyance from work area to begin loading vehicle for delivery. Carrier may have multiple start load vehicle selections in a day if additional trips to load are required. Ensure this keystroke is followed by end load once loading is complete. There is no change to previously established loading procedures. And then end load vehicle, select end load vehicle when returning empty conveyance to designated location after vehicle loading is complete. Carrier may have multiple end load vehicle selections in a day if additional trips to load are required. Now, M38, which is management of rural delivery services, says loading. The mail must be loaded in the vehicle in order of delivery. It is essential that the carrier maintain the delivery sequence of mail in the vehicle. This permits ready identification and retrieval of the mail to be delivered and contributes to an efficient delivery operation. Safety is an important factor, and the task of replenishing mail or obtaining the next parcel for delivery is only done when the vehicle is stopped. So each person loads their vehicle differently, and I mean management really doesn't have, that's what it says for loading. Now, just be safe while you're doing it, and I'm not saying like be meticulous in how you're loading your vehicle, but each person's going to load their vehicle a little bit differently. So keep that in mind while you're loading. Um, and then the other part, sorry, loading of vehicles. Thought I had it up. PO 603, section 262 states load all mail in the vehicle so that it is in sequence of delivery to ensure that no time is lost on the route searching for the proper bundles and parcels or containers. And then if, and I will also say it should be an if, final withdrawal. Make final withdrawal of preferential mail from the designated distribution case immediately prior to leaving the office. Place this mail in sequence of delivery and deliver with the other mail. I know my office had an issue where they weren't going to measure us an additional time around the hot case because they said that final withdrawal would be on load time while you're loading. And then the other part of this is if the clerks are placing like large parcels, or let's say you have a full coverage and they're placing a bunch of items for you to like load into a conveyance to deliver to take to the vehicle, you also can be on load time for that. And then
Yep.
the other part of this is, I'll let you say what you're going to say, Josh. I'm sorry.
I'm going to say, yeah, if the clerks sort parcels to your case on the floor, you can, when you move them to put them in a conveyance to take them out to load, you can include that in your load time.
Yes. And it'll always be from you leaving your case to push that conveyance, or wherever you're sorting your parcels at, I should say. Now, some people move to other areas, but the way that it's generalized is the moment you just start pushing it until you have taken that hamper back to its designated location or
Yep.
conveyance. The other part of this that gets a little bit more complicated, and I know that we are rule carriers and we aren't all required to do this. There is what is called the load truck feature on the scanner. And over the last couple years, I've seen more rural carriers are using it. And I'm going to read the step 4 grievance settlement from 2019. And it hasn't been altered yet. And then I'm going to talk about my understanding of this after. The issue in this grievance concerns rural carriers utilizing the load truck feature when loading an employer-provided vehicle. After reviewing this matter, we mutually agreed that no national interpretive issue is fairly presented in this case. PO 603 Section 223.23 is instructive regarding how rural carriers handle parcels that do not fit in the case separation. Specifically, a letter may be reversed or some other method may be used to alert carriers as a parcel, yada, yada, yada. The parties agree that management may require rural craft employees who are being compensated hourly to use the load truck feature. This settlement should be applied to grievances that are currently being held, provided pending the outcome of this dispute, yada, yada, yada. So this was like in our old mail count system. My understanding of this now is that if management is requiring you to use the load truck feature that is on the scanner, you can be using it under load time. Now,
Yes.
the other part of this is that regardless if you're an office that management has not required you to do this, you're sorting your parcels like you've always done it before, RX does give you credit for you handling the parcel in the office. And we have talked about that in that 4241M episode. It's based off of where you're delivering it. You're getting credit to sort small or medium sized parcel if it's in a mailbox or in a parcel locker. And then you're getting credit to sort a large parcel if it was delivered to front door. On the scanner, if you are loading your vehicle, you can switch over. The only option that you actually have the ability to do during loading your vehicle is the load truck option. So I don't know if that's going to become a requirement for us here on out. That's out of my wheelhouse, and I'm not the person who determines that. I know there's some benefit to it, especially to the subs that do not know the routes that they're doing, because it gives you the sequence number based off of the AMS edit book number, and then it also gives you the section of the route that it's in. And then if management is ever questioning you of whether you not or not you had a parcel. Now you have that as a resource to go, hey, I never loaded this in my vehicle, even though it's on my package. Look ahead. And I'm trying to think if is there anything else with that part of that?
No,
I
I don't
can't
think
think of
so.
any.
I'm one of those meticulous truck loaders, so
Yeah.
I,
Hey, to each their own. I mean, to each their own.
it is, and I just see some of these carriers that just load packages willy nilly, and I'm just like, how? But I also don't mark packages. I don't write on them. I load meticulously, basically, and I see even some regular carriers that write the house number on the parcel marker. They mark it, write the house number or on the package, and it's just tossed willy nilly in the truck. And I'm thinking, how do you work efficiently doing that? But that's just I'm
Yeah. Well,
I
for
am
my
not an OCD person, but when it comes to my mail and delivering, I'm OCD.
for my curbside, I have them lined up in order, and I do mark them because well, we've talked about this before. I miss them when I mark them. What makes you think I'll get it right if I don't mark them? But
Exactly.
for all my, I separate my all my different CBU stops, which is the bulk of my route. I just kind of throw them in there in different sections of the truck because I actually sort them when I get to that location for delivery, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it
Um,
does. And maybe I should have used probably a different set of words. But like I've seen people where it wasn't I wouldn't say I would call it meticulous, but they were organizing it to be what I actually think is going to be most efficient for them on the street. But I've also seen it where somebody like overthought it. Like that was like a newer sub and they didn't realize that it was like harming them essentially. So you just have to load however works for you. That's going to be the safest and most efficient for you. But and if management really feels like micromanaging it, like I mean, the manager I was talking about earlier today, she's never delivered mail and never had to deal with an SPM. So some of these managers have never had to deal with that either. So kind of keep that in mind. Um, so the other thing with the load truck is that it does mark those parcels as out for delivery. So if it's like a customer service kind of a thing, and I don't know if management, the higher ups are going to make us do it from here on out with that, and using that. I know personally, like I don't flag anything, but I do mark like right on some of my parcels for like for my key box stops. And there was this one guy I used to work with that he would literally like he started in the 80s and he would just and he was on a POV route and he would just look at a parcel and just like his arm, like he had like a visual memory of it. And he would just like look on it and then like put it in the vehicle. And he had them all in these certain spots. And it was just like, it looked like no rhyme or reason to me. And I still like to this day don't know how he did it, but he just blew my mind just watching him load, just go look at it and go boom, boom, like just place them where they go.
What I do in my LLV. But yeah, I get it as it being a POV driver. That was the one thing is I marked everything in a POV, but I was meticulous on how I loaded that too as much as possible. Yeah, I get it. I worked with an old regular that he would circle the address instead of marking it, and then he would know what he had, and he wouldn't mark everything. I remember having to go take over the route because he got sick out on the route or something one day, and nothing is marked, and I was just like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, and also so if I and if I'm mistaken in this in my understanding of the load truck, because I know different offices kind of have been doing different things, but my understanding of it is that it's been altered now that they're going to let you use the load truck feature on load time in regulars and RCAs. But unless that's changed, yeah, the parties agree that management may require Rollcraft employees who are being compensated hourly to use the load truck feature, but the RCA aren't always hourly. They may be over 40, So if I get other information on that, I will
Right.
correct myself on that too. But
Or
um,
I want to say, or regulars in their first year that choose hourly, they can require them.
New RCAs
if,
within their first 5 pay periods. I
oh
think
yeah,
that
they
was
would be. Yeah,
initially what it was about was the newer RCAs in their first 5 pay periods.
yeah. Oh, of why they were making them, and I think that I've noticed that there's some subs that they crutch on it
Mm-hmm.
pretty heavily, and
Mm-hmm.
there's others that have used it as a tool, but they still like know the route. And there's going to be some parcels that, um, I know we're kind of going off on the load truck feature, but there's going to be some parcels that don't scheme correctly. And um, other side little note on this too, because I've seen this happen before, and it has not really ever been talked about very often, but I've witnessed this happen. If a route is scheduled to be adjusted and there is a firm date of when that's going to happen, typically the pay period before the adjustment happens, the edit book sequence numbers have already started change, and so the load truck feature will not work 100% correctly, especially if they've just completely like gutted and changed a route. So load truck and package look ahead will not work that pay period prior to the adjustment going into effect. So just
And
keep
Also,
that in mind.
load truck will not scan packages in if the clerks have not scanned the dispatch up scan after sorting. So if they're loading while clerks are still sorting packages, as this happens in our office daily, and they're trying to use load truck, it will not always, it more 9 times out of 10 does not register that package until after clerks have scanned the dispatch up scan.
and fun fact, I found out the hard way. If you hit load truck after the delivery scan, it will cancel the delivery scan. Found this out
Oh
at my
yeah,
apartment
yeah.
because I scanned them delivered at the apartment when I got there, and sorted them to where they're going to go, like at the on the ground underneath the CBU that it's supposed to be at. And there was one that I re-looked at it and couldn't tell because it's dim lighting in the one section. I couldn't tell, so I scanned it load truck to verify the apartment number, and I had to talk to the next day about that.
You can also, if you're under the scan barcode screen, the little magnifying lens down on the left hand corner at the bottom, if you hit that, it will pop up to do an address verification to scan in.
Hmm,
Oh,
I'll
I
have
did
to
not
check
know
that.
that.
Yeah, the screen will turn
Yep.
yellow and it'll ask for address verification, and then you can scan it that way to look up
Okay.
the
I've seen the yellow
address
screen
lookup. Yep,
before.
address lookup. Yep.
Didn't know how I got to it, but I've seen that yellow screen before. Okay. I will
Somebody
check
asked, does
that
it
out.
work for letters too?
I don't know. I've never tried it on letters, but I've done it on packages. Usually, like if an Amazon label's been ripped off, but it only works once the
Right.
dispatch scan has been done. After the clerks after sorting and everything's done, and they do their upload scan, that's the only time it will work. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't think it would work on letters because it's just showing what the parcels scans are, I think, in the system. But I don't know. I'll test that out also. The other thing too that I've noticed now, because I know the scanners just recently updated, and now you'll have the package look ahead with the scan menu, and you can toggle between the two of them, which I think is amazing. Because like I sometimes forget parcels I have in the way back because I have a mattress and I don't want to go pull over, turn the vehicle off, go, you know, go look in the back. I sometimes will look on my scanner and go, oh, okay, I do have a parcel for them.
and you can
But
scan from that package look ahead screen too.
Yeah, I was just
yep,
going to
that's
say
what I
that.
was just about to say. Yeah. Which was like, whoa, I could just leave that menu up and then scan from there, that's
Or you'd
actually,
have to toggle back over to it
yeah,
once you
once you
click scan.
scanned
But
it,
yeah,
but yeah. So, but if you're in office, I will say this also at the end of this, um, there is no, sorry to say this for all of these events, there is no set time based off of what I read by those engineers, there is no set time for these events because there's so many, like I said, there's so many variables that's why there is no set standard here. Like it's going to take what it'll take, and management can't be uh, benchmarking your time for what these things are going to be. And I know the express deviation, they're not really as harping on. It's this next one that's going to be it's the load time, and then this next one I'm going to go over here in a second, which is the end of shift time. There, like I said, there's no set time. So end of shift duties, which a lot of people in the beginning of RX didn't realize we had, is um, the moment that you hit RX scan J, which is return to DU, it says select return to DU after returning to the office, stopping the vehicle by turning off the key after all route delivery is complete. This begins timing of end of shift duties. And until you either hit L, which is RX scan L, which is clock out, or if you hit PM casing, that timer for that end of shift time is going. And it's important, and I'm going to preface this again, even if you're sub, make sure you've turned off that vehicle, you've parked it. If you need to go to the dock to start unloading things and you've turned off the vehicle, the next thing you should be doing is grabbing that scanner and hitting return to DU. The other day, I think I was talking to Josh the other day, and I said, "Do you when, when I leave my house, I'm so like I have this so ingrained in me now is that like when I leave my house sometimes to go to work, I want to hit depart to route, or when I leave work, I want to hit depart to route. You know,
I
like
asked her what she's smoking and why she wasn't sharing.
hit, depart to route. um, yeah, and I wish there was a scan for the mapping, but um, so the union came up with, and this is also like some of this information is in the PO per the PO 603, but uh, like loading time, the time required for end of shift duty is recorded daily on the MDD, and the average weekly time over 52 weeks is included in the evaluation. The time begins when the carrier enters return to DU on the MDD and ends when they hit PM casing or clock out. Either event signals the end time of the for end of shift. End of shift activities recorded as actual time are, and then I'm going to also preface this by saying not all will be applicable at every office. One is gather accepted and collected mail, empty mail trays, turn in the scanner, personal items, and exit the vehicle, grabbing all that stuff and then taking it into the office, obtaining a conveyance hamper, using the restroom, disposal of ordinary mail collected and accepted en route. Dispose, if you have to affix stamps on unstamped mail when the customer has left sufficient postage, face and deposit mail in designated location, case or dispose of undeliverable ordinary mail. And there's a reference to the PO 603 section 4.21. Dispose of carrier pickup items collected on the route. And that also includes if you need to hit that prepaid acceptance, if management is requiring you to do that prepaid acceptance scan for the parcels over the 5. Placing undeliverable parcels in a designated location. Dispose of special service mail collected, accepted en route. Registered mail, certified mail, insured mail, CODs, express, money orders, all that stuff. Clear and dispose of accountable items. Your registered, your certifieds, express mail, CODs, postage dues, customs duties mail, and wait while items are cleared and completed paperwork at your accountable cage, or if management clears you. Return keys and the gas cards, their credit cards. Dispose of signed forms for numbered insured mail. Dispose of undeliverable ordinary and insured parcels. Place returned empty mail trays in designated storage locations. Move vehicle from unloading location to regular parking location where applicable. So if you're unloading at the dock because you're where you park, the vehicle is so far away, or you have buttloads of parcels that you picked up on your route and you need to unload them at the dock. Rural reach, so replenish the lead cards and the brochures that you need. Stamp stock, replenish stamp stock and turn in cash from previous sales. Participate in audit of stamp stock sales. Trip report, complete afternoon entries on form 4240. Report vehicle problems and write up your vehicle. Like, let's say you were delivering and all of a sudden your turn signal light went out and you need to write it up. Or like what happens to me all the time because I'm parked under a tree that has a lot of sap, I go through windshield wiper fluid a lot.
You get
Um,
windshield wiper fluid?
yeah. And if I
Wow.
didn't, I'd write a 1767 because it freezes here. It is 15 degrees outside right now. So to hell, I better have some windshield wiper fluid in there. Um, perform, so report vehicle problems, perform required updates in AMS edit book. So when you're working on your edit books, this is when you should be doing it so that your route is receiving credit. Your DPM and LTM updates. Now, management can do this in the morning and pay you 8127 time, but the preferred method for this to be built into your route is on end of shift time. Perform Saturday clearance activities. So like let's say um some offices they clean the floors on the weekends. I know my office, they have a company during like holiday weekends will come in and will add wax, buffer the floors because our floors have asbestos in them. And so if we have to move all of our mats and all that kind of stuff. Maintain case configuration, replace labels as needed. So if you're doing labels on your route and it's not because your line of travel changed or um and I it's not based off of like let's say that you had a route adjustment, that's going to be a whole nother topic. This is like if your labels are old and you need to change a row out, try and at least change a row every month, do some maintenance on them labels. um Weigh, rate, and affix postage to parcels received en route. Emptying out and returning mail from full boxes held at case where the customer never came to retrieve. So let's say you got somebody on 10-day hold and it's been the 10 days and they haven't, return that mail. Put a bar in there and get that rolling. Returning 3M mail, the 3M mail, forward mail, etc., to its designated location. Retrieve hold mail for the next delivery day if kept away from your case and prepare for delivery. I actually will retrieve my hold mail for the next delivery day and get it set up for the next day so that I just throw it in with my small parcels later on and my spur trays and stuff. If you need to have discussions with management, like let's say you needed to file a grievance or like something's wrong with your pay and management still hasn't corrected it, that can be on return to DU time. Replenish supplies, so like your 3849s, 4056s, 4560, what are 4565s?
That is a good question, and I don't know. Let's see.
And 4232s.
4565
Yeah.
vehicle repair tag.
Anyways.
That's your fix it slip for the truck.
Oh, okay. I know I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't think of it. Complete PS Form 3575, which is change of address if required. Complete PS Form 3971 leave requests. If you want to do your leave requests on return to DU time. Handling money order transactions, which I've never done. And then returning a conveyance to its designated location. So these are that's like a 31 item list of things that can be happening on return to DU. And I'm sure there's other things, so I've what was one of the things I did? I haven't done this in a long time because I've not had enough time to do it. I've like dusted the inside of my mattress on the dashboard one time just because it was disgusting.
I'll put my hold if I have future PARS labels and hold cards that are up there for future dates. I'll put those up if they're going up for the next day. As well as our holds are kept at our cases. We have racks for those, but yeah, I'll pull my holds. I'll try if I can remember. Yeah, anything that you're preparing for the next day would be included under that too. So
Yeah. Some of the things that won't be included in this is if you're casing mail that you brought back from the route, like management has allowed you to not have to like leave it uncased. It depends on the office, but it was a black box or some of the DPS that you had was missequenced and it's you're handling that day's stuff. But if you're essentially PM casing or casing like a full coverage for the next day, that would be under PM casing.
yeah,
That would not be on.
or like when I come back Tuesday evening, Tuesday after the route, and newspapers for Wednesdays are sitting there. If I wanted to case them up for Wednesday, that would go under PM casing. Usually don't.
Yeah. I'm also kind of blind, so when I write I actually, because you know how like they'll have the hold uh papers they give us or even the yellow cards and they have like the tiny font that's on the bottom. I write it bigger in Sharpie so that I can see it. And then I'll even write like the day of the week that it says that it ends plus the date. Or if it's a pickup, I just write PU really big so that I just so that it's just organized and that you um, it's just easier to see it. I already know I'm going to have like 3 holds that the guy who delivered my route Friday did not probably deliver. But that's tomorrow's problem.
Right?
The yeah. The other thing with it is I know like Josh the other day was talking about the red line policy and there's SNDCs and I think some offices have started doing this. There's going to be I don't think there's still provisions of what is contractually appropriate and management can't be again benchmarking and limiting the end of shift time to 5 minutes because the engineers determined that there is no set standard. So granted they may have maybe they put the 3M case and like an area for the UBUM and the area for the holds in a different location so that it's not them going all the way back to their case per se, but they still have to allow them to do their case labels and the route maintenance that has to happen because there is no other way for us to get the credit for it. And granted, you're not going to be doing your edit book every single day unless you're growth route, which would be kind of crazy, but I'm a growth route and I'm not doing my edit book every day. But you still have to be able to get paid and compensated for doing these sorts of things. And that's why a lot of this is just blanketed under the return to DU time. So don't let management bully you into thinking you can only have 5 minutes of return to DU time.
Takes me
And
that
if
long
if
to
they
unload
are,
my truck.
yeah. Well, and
Taking that
even
long to
like
get the nerve to leave truck.
to leave the truck. Now, the other thing that I had talked about was that personal fatigue and delay. Um, and this is in the comprehensive guide. The return to DU time is gonna be what it is. It does not have that personal fatigue and delay buffer added to it because the engineers know that you're fatigued from the route already. So the time it's kind of already treated like a break because sometimes people are just going to the bath some people like you park the vehicle, turn it off, hit return to DU and run to go to the bathroom.
Done that.
Like, I want to know
Yep.
what the return to DU time is for that route that's like 180 miles. Like, did you pee out there on the route? Like where did you have bathroom stops?
Yeah, that would be
But
me on a Saturday or any time that my township office is closed because it's about halfway, and there are days where they love me when I bring their mail in because I'm using their restroom.
I'm like, guys, I gotta go potty. I gotta go
Yeah, yeah,
potty.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Hi, here. Be back in a minute.
Well, and sometimes like I get back to the office, and a lot of the city carriers get back around between like 4 and 4:30. I've noticed, and if I get back when the city carriers get back, it's gonna take me longer because they're all like all their vehicles are in the way, and like I'm having to run around them. It's just different, you know. And I know as rural carriers, we try to be as efficient as possible because we're on an evaluated system, but just I don't know, I had to start doing this like mentality with uh saving some things to for return to DU time. Just so that I knew that I was getting proper credit for it. And granted, there's certain items like, you know, that we have measurements. We do have credit for, you know, the 3M mail. We're measured over there. But I mean, the management's the one that says DPS is designed so that it's supposed to go to the street. So obviously, that DPS better be pristine, but it's not. I'm gonna
Oh,
have
don't
mistakes,
get me
and
started on Monday. There was a reason I had a
yeah,
12-hour day and 11 inches of DPS I brought back that was missequenced. So,
Oh,
last night I had a nightmare that I got to this to like the beginning of this one neighborhood that I have really bad service in, and I got to like the third box in it, and my DPS turned to a tray of raw, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is a nightmare! Why am I having a dream about messed up DPS?" Society post office dreams. So yeah, can't wait for the manager to be like, you need to be out in 5 minutes. Cool. Then what are you gonna do with all this?
yeah,
You're
here
gonna
you
pay me
go.
81.27 time tomorrow to handle all this.
Yeah,
Play route cleanup.
yeah. There is no benchmarking, and if management's trying to benchmark, well, you need to contact your appropriate assignment.
Yeah, and I've seen an influx of it. I guess it comes in waves. There's and right before we started this episode too, we had somebody who posted and said management's trying to limit us to only 5 minutes of return to DU time.
And if they're
And
falsifying, if they're changing your 4240 after you leave for the day to reflect that 5 minutes, that is falsifying a time record. And yeah, you definitely do contact somebody about that.
yeah, oh my gosh, I would. Yeah, and even
Oh,
and the other thing, yeah, I'd be all.
they'd be running scared from me if I caught them doing that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I've actually caught it on my own route where the sub hit clock out and return to DU in the same minute, and I'm like, it takes a minute for you to just more than a minute for you to walk from where my parking spot is to my case. So I disputed that time. So it was and won that dispute and has made have I have made management very aware like hey, you know, if you're a you know there's going to be some times where yeah, you are kind of throw and go or there's no the DPS is pristine, so you don't have a bunch of 3M mail or you don't have people on hold, but sometimes that soup that you bring back, it's going to take a little bit for you to clean up. So, it takes what it takes and don't let management benchmark you.
All right,
So,
anything else, guys?
trying to think.
Oh, I did get
game.
my mini mail survey dispute back the other day.
Yeah.
Nice.
My two boxes that I disputed were added on for a whopping 1.7 minutes.
Woohoo.
Woohoo!
Hey, anything to help those standard hours since I was only 3 minutes over. Yeah.
Every little bit helps. Seriously.
What,
Josh, have they been like limiting your guys' return to DU time with that red line policy?
No.
Okay, good. I'm walking on wood right now. Don't limit it.
No. At least they haven't said anything about limiting it or it only taking what. But I did find
Yeah.
out that where Monday was a 11 and 3/4 hour day,
Yeah.
that it might actually be 12 hours and 15 minutes because the one supervisor asked me yesterday about Monday's hours. She's like, was that you or was that the sub? The sub, clocked out at 8:45. I'm like, what was the date? What day? It's like Monday. I'm like, that was me. It's like, okay, because it has your name on it, but I'm like, she's like, there's no way you got back that late. I'm like, well, first of all, it was a Monday, and we had the marriage mail that they made us take with us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's like, so I'm using what was entered in the scanner. I didn't adjust nothing, which means she's not putting in my 30-minute lunch every day, which is on her.
Oh,
Write it down. I write it down. That means I have 15 minutes overtime
I was gonna
for
say, so
Monday if
you
that's
went
the case.
FLSA overtime.
Are you
Mm-hmm.
doing your clock
Mm-hmm.
in and out to lunch on the scanner?
I keep forgetting. And I know it's 2 more scans in the day, but
Yeah.
Because if you do that, it automatically puts it into the time system.
Yeah.
right. I know. I just keep forgetting to add, to hit it.
Yeah, and there's a spot
I
for
even
them.
had, well, they're supposed to enter what you have on the 240, not what the scanner said you did.
Yeah, but
Just say,
I write 30, but sometimes I mean I've taken like 2 breaks to equal 30 usually. And management can enter in, or whoever is doing your timekeeping in RMSS can enter that blanket number of time.
right. Well,
But
they're supposed to adjust it to what your 4240 says.
yeah. Well, and if management isn't entering your break time, that also can affect 2080.
It can, but when you stay under most of the time,
Yeah. You can, but I don't know about every person that's listening to going to be listening to this,
right. Well, as I
Everybody's got a
said,
different
if
scenario.
you can stay under most of the time,
Yeah.
then you're good in theory. But then again, I also like to take my time off, so
Yeah.
that helps also.
All right, guys, let's wind this down for tonight.
Yeah.
Sounds good to
Yeah.
me.
Final thoughts, Josh?
Weather is turning, so layer up, be safe out there for whatever the road conditions are. Uh, don't let yourself get overwhelmed. If you do, take a step back, take a deep breath, step back in. Have a good week. We'll catch you next time. Meow.
Well, thank you guys. I hope that this helped some people out there. Because like I said, I don't know, we usually try and see like what a lot of people are asking questions about too. Um, so if you know of somebody who's needing some help, like let them like share this with them and let them know. I know we still have a lot of people who are asking about the Christmas overtime procedures, and somebody wrote like, when is the Christmas actual time period or something? And I was like, that's not what it is. Like, so, um, be resourceful and, information is, invaluable. There's so many different things that, you have at your fingertips. I have to remind myself of that too. Sometimes I'm like, yes, I'm going to get off of Facebook and actually educate myself and read some stuff. So, again, I will, in your free time, which if you don't have any, or when you're when you're going to the bathroom, go through and just start reading some random postal manuals, some invigorating stuff. um, but
So
no, seriously though, I hope that this does help you in some way.
speaking of the Christmas overtime, it starts this Saturday coming up.
Yes, it does.
Yes, December 6th.
Yep.
The other thing is next Monday again, because I was gonna write this on Facebook. December 8th. It's coming up quick. Is the end of the open enrollment. So if you need to do that, you got to get that done so that you don't lose that. So
Yes, I
yeah,
still have
free
to
time,
do. Yeah, I still have to
free
do my
time.
FSA.
Yeah, light
Yeah,
blue
I
just
gotta.
reminded me that too.
So there's Lincoln Light Blue for the FSA.
Yeah, light blue said on the top of it. It said, if you have an FSA account, make sure you're running out of time. Like December 8th is the last day. So, but
I gotta figure out if I'm gonna do that or not. I guess, or this
yeah,
year.
yeah. But anyways, uh, like Josh said, don't get overwhelmed and stuff. Again, I'm gonna preface this again. I know we're in Christmas time, holidays. If you need help, please reach out to EAP. Their number is 1-800 EAP for you, and they will help you. I just want you guys to know you're not alone. I mean, we're doing this because we want to help educate people and let you guys know like we're there for you, and the camaraderie of knowing like, hey, it could get crazy, and we're reaching that crazy time of year. So don't be afraid to reach out to people if you need some help. So um layer up also, and don't forget your headlamp if you need it, because I know this next week we're going to be delivering all of that Black Friday, Cyber Monday, fun, jolly times. So just please be safe, guys. So, Kristen?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, definitely. As the holiday season is starting upon us, and headlight. I made sure I recharged my finger light gloves the other day. Basically stay safe out there. I know there was a lot of wet, heavy snow that's come through some areas in the last 24 hours or so. Guys, take precautions and make sure that you stay safe out there. Stay hydrated as well. The weather seems to be, the air is drier, so you do need to still stay hydrated year round. I'll always preach that. And but yeah, definitely make sure you're staying safe out there and you're taking care of each other. And as Meow mentioned, if you do need that extra assistance, EAP is available for everybody. Most importantly, you gotta watch out for yourself, most importantly, and get home safely to your loved ones at the end of each night. No matter how long that night ends up going, as we all know this is the time of year where we kiss our loved ones goodbye in the morning and we'll see them again on Christmas morning. But it is what it is, and we push through and we make sure everybody has their Christmases every year. So that's what we do. And on that note, guys, we'll be back next week. So everybody have a safe week.
Bye.